I hope I can keep my composure. Last week, my wife told me she wanted to end our relationship.
Good. Easy for us to say.
We've been living separate lives in the same house the last 8 months, and we went to counseling a few months ago several times, and during that process she made up her mind that she wanted to end the relationship, and I'm still committed to saving our marriage. I do not want to give it up. We have 2 young boys, and she has not brought up the divorce word. She's mentioned separation, and to me, separation means divorce. And now she's starting to make things very ugly. She's starting to build a wall between me and the boys, and we have a lot of financial stress, which I think is part of why she wants to end.
We were sort of blunt when we said good, but we want to explain why that is not as out of sync with what you want as you think. As you say, you've already been living separate lives, even though you're under the same roof. And when you are in that situation, it's more likely that walls will be built to separate than if you were in less close proximity. When you talked about your wife sort of building walls, almost wanting to separate you between the rest of them, we want to point out to you that that really is a byproduct of her feeling sort of trapped with situations of her own making, situations of her own observation that she's just not wanting to participate in. And it is our promise to you that her relationship with you and your relationship with her and your relationship with the children will be much better if you can put some distance between you that will allow a softening of the clamoring that is causing the walls to be built to begin with. There are many things you say, well, I would see less of them, and it would be harder to maintain any kind of continuity. And we say it's hard to maintain any of it anyway because of the wall building that's going on. The bringing down of the walls is the most important thing. And the thing that most physical friends do not really hear, and we find endless ways to try to express it, even in your rightness about a subject, when you try to push your rightness toward another who disagrees, no matter how right you are, it causes more pushing against. In other words, it isn't until you stop pushing that any real allowing of what you want can take place. Now, we are not encouraging the divorce either, but we have to say to you that we see so many relationships that are so improved once the contrived and controlled staying together has been released. There's something about the marriage vows in and of themselves that are entrapping. They sort of defy the art of allowing, in the sense that they say, I will stay with you no matter how bad I feel. So if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would keep holding to the idea of what you really want, the basis of the relationship that you really want, and we would agree with her and release easily anything that's in the way of that. For example, you would say, I want lots of delicious, comfortable interaction. And you don't just mean with the children, you mean the family. I want comfortable interaction. And we believe that if you were to say to her, I'm starting to get a sense of the walls that we've both been building, and maybe a separation would help some of those walls come down. And I want that. I want us to feel less stress. I want us all to feel more free. I want to reignite the feeling of well-being. In other words, not using entrapping sounding words, I'm wanting us to be together forever and ever, because that's kind of suffocating her. I want us all to feel happier. And anything that moves us quickly toward feeling happier, I'm all for. And then repeat some of the things that you really mean, that you meant way back then and that you mean now. I want your life to be joyful. I always wanted your life to be joyful. You will hardly believe the soothing that that would be to her. I've always wanted your life to be joyful. I never thought that me going away was the way that you were going to reach for that. But if that's what it takes, then I got to tell you, I'm all right with that, because I want your life to be joyful. I want our kids' lives to be joyful. And truly, I want my life to be more joyful. And I'm willing to take the pressure off to do that. When there is already financial pressure, the idea of maintaining extra households feels like throwing gasoline on a fire that's already burning out of control. And so you could say softly, I don't know how we will swing it financially. I wish that I had enough money in a bank account that I could set you up in a magnificent place, and I could keep a comfortable place where our kids could move back and forth between wonderful places. That would be my heart's desire. But for now, I can't quite figure out how we're going to manage that. And we believe that in your willingness with your words, you will diffuse so much of the energy that is making her speak this stuff that a sort of rational soothing will come over her, and she will say something to you like, well, we don't have to do anything right now. Let's just sort of see how it goes. And it is our absolute belief that if you offer these words, there will be a diffusing of the tension that then will give all of you an opportunity to take another run at this. We're not giving you these words because we're trying to help you save your marriage. We're giving you these words because we're trying to help you soothe a situation that is uncomfortable, and there isn't any reason for anybody to be uncomfortable. We don't want you to be uncomfortable. We don't want her to be uncomfortable. See yourself as a soother, not as a holder, not as a maintainer of a desire for the relationship. See yourself as a soother. Say, I'm going to soothe this. I can't fix it. I can't get enough money that we can all live in great places right now, and I can't set you up with a great lifestyle. I can't do all it. I can't fix this, but I sure can soothe it. I can soothe it by acknowledging you've got some points, and I can soothe it by acknowledging that I adore you. And I can soothe it by understanding how you love our kids. And I can soothe it by helping you to understand how I love our kids. I can soothe it by hoping for something better for all of us. And I can soothe it by acknowledging that help is on the way. You see what we're getting at? Just soothe it. What happens with most, especially when you get to this point, is both of you become inciters or inflamers of what's wrong in order to justify your position. And you don't want to justify your position, because you can't justify your position without beating the drum of what you don't want. And when you beat the drum of what you do not want, you activate more of what you do not want, which makes it impossible for you to get what you do want. You're not wrong. She's not wrong. You've just created this thing for a point of clarity, and your relationship will be stronger for it. We want to say to you, every relationship is eternal. You will always have this relationship. You will always be this family. And where you live is really irrelevant to the relationship. Instead of this family that is identified by the house that we live in, you're wanting to see relationships as the structure. So you have a relationship with your wife, and you have a relationship with each child, and each of them has a relationship with each other, and each of them has a relationship with their mother. In other words, you're all co-creating. You're not really a family in the sense that you are a thing or a relationship. You are a multitude of relationships, and all of those energies are mixing together, you see. And what you're wanting to see yourself as is a catalyst or a soother of lovely relationships. You have so much more power of influence than you know. And what we've noticed, every time there is a separation of a family, the family improves immediately, because the beating of the drum that got so big that made you want to be apart to begin with ceases to some extent, and the soothing and healing can begin right away. You are an evolving being, and your relationship with your children and with your mate will continue to evolve. And it all hinges upon how well you feel at any time. Don't let her make you feel failure. Don't let that happen, because it's all about co-creation. Don't accept failure. Accept evolution. Accept expansion. Accept ongoing relationship. Accept that. And expect always improved relationship. We would like you to begin saying and thinking. Say it until you feel it, and it may take a little doing, because we know it's a sort of a shocking new idea. But try to get used to this, and everything will get better. We are celebrating the success of our relationship with a separation, because our relationship is so important to all of us. We're giving each other some breathing space while we reclaim who we are. If you can get feeling really, really good as you come to be at one with the idea of temporary separation, as you get feeling really, really good, she will not be able to even imagine what her problem was. It will evaporate. She won't even be able to remember. Nobody can remember what happened if it's not still active in the vibration. So if you can let the separation work its charm, which means this is the separation from resistance so that I can get back into alignment with who I am. And as you get back into alignment with who you are, dollars will start flowing better, your clarity will start flowing better, you'll regain your balance, you'll be who you really are, and she'll say, I must have been out of my mind. Funny, isn't it? So you said, I don't want separation, and we said, go for separation. Sort of feels odd, we know. But that's sort of where the current is right now. If you resist the current, you'll just get more separated from yourself. And it's your separation from yourself that is at the heart of all of this anyway, you see. So as you come back to who you are, everything else soothes. Have you ever had anyone say to you, and really mean it, you are absolutely wrong and I am absolutely right? And they really mean it. Oh, they're all puffed up. They really mean it. And then you say to them, I never thought of it that way. You know, you make a really good point. And they just, all of the fire just goes out of them, because you didn't meet it with the resistance that it needed to feed. If you don't meet resistance with resistance, it dissipates dramatically, you see. It just softens. Try it. Next time somebody says to you, I'm right and you're wrong, say, you're right. You are right. You're right. And mean it. In other words, don't mock them. Don't be sarcastic. You're right. And then watch how all of a sudden their legs almost go right out from under them. They don't have the energy to blast you because you just took the fuel away from the fire.